Hello and welcome to Melting Core. On tonight's episode, we break down the highlights from the flurry that was Frosty Faustings' Melty Blood type Lumina bracket. Tonight's headlines: Losers Run? Hardly a challenge. One Mario to rule them all. 623 Believer in 5th place King. Riz God in Illinois? Defying expectations. A new champion crowned. And the final invitation spots for the PSA Circuit qualifier. All this and more on Melting Core. Adopted Minnesotan makes a run. The Wisconsin player representing the Minnesota scene, Hardly, had an avalanche of a run at Frosty's. After losing to Dat Boy Uchiha in winners finals of Pool B1 in a 2-1 set, the solo Arkwood player would leave a path of devastation in his wake. First defeating DMV player Gumi 2-1, Pennsylvanian player Crystal 2-0, and fellow Arkwood player Mick 2-1. This run was already extremely impressive. However, they found themselves playing against Kiri, a player in the running to make top 8 in this bracket, who was unexpectedly sent into the losers bracket during her pool. Just as Hardly beat Mick in losers round 3 of top 48, Kiri in losers round 3 had knocked out Hardly's fellow local, Made in Heaven, to set up their meeting. In an act of vengeance, Hardly defeated Kiri 2-0, and was one away from top 8. However, their run would end at 9th, with Arkma Muddy Kips ending their run at 2-1. Hardly made an extremely strong statement with this run, and it will be exciting to watch him wherever he brings his talents to next. California Mario Unforgettable. Vivian, the West Coast premier Mario main, made a notable impact during the weekend. They cruised out of their pools on the winner's side, beating Spoinkman and Hama along the way. In top 48, they beat Mick 2-0 before being harshly stopped by Scrop Vermillion just before top 8. With just one more win away from top 8, they had to face off against fellow Mario main JCOM. JCOM, for his part, was on a small losers run already, having beat Blitzbright and Tumbleweed to make it to Vivian. Both were hungry for that top 8 spot. As the Marios dueled pianos, it was Vivian who made it out on top in a 2-0 victory. Vivian would push their run a little further with a 2-1 victory over Hyde, before finishing at 5th with a loss to Defiant. An excellent run from an excellent player. The Patient Saber Rattler. Blaznik is a player who may be unfamiliar to frequent tournament watchers. They don't enter too often, but they make a statement when they do make the journey for in-person events, and Frosty Faustings was no exception. Defeating Crystal to make it out of pools on the winner's side, they would also defeat Dat Boy Uchiha in top 48, before dropping to Defiant in winner's quarters. They would formally punch their ticket into top 8 by defeating StarX_ on the loser's side, keeping their run alive. They would then defeat Arkma Muddy Kips 2-1, fighting off both of his CLs, before coming up short versus Connecticut Wark player Kikoho 2-1 to end at 5th. What players and spectators got to witness on this run was Blaznik's strong patience, precise block strings, and pressure. Hopefully, we will see more of this Saber champion in 2024. Rizzing in the City. A standout name in top 48, both for their name and for their placing, was Ohio Riz God, also known as That Kerbo. They are a Dead Apostle Noel player, known for being the tournament organizer for the bi-weekly Kerbo Cup beginner and intermediate brackets in 2023. Going into this bracket, they were not expected to make it out of their pool full of strong players. Despite that, the Riz God would take names quickly, defeating both Gumi and Gary Buttery Nubs 2-0, and securing a guaranteed spot in top 48. They would move on to the next stage on the loser side, after losing to Kikoho. But even in top 48, they would secure one more win versus Tenchi. The run would end at 25th, where they ran into the other Red Arkwood main, Blitzbright. Still, an extremely impressive run that shook up the bracket for many competitors. Defiant until the end. Defiant, an extremely strong Undernight player, is similarly strong in Melty Blood as well. 2023 saw some ups and downs in his placings, with a 3rd at CEO, but drowning in pools at CEO Taku. At Frosty's, it was anyone's guess as to where he'd be. Along with Melty Blood, he was also in the Undernight Sis Celeste bracket, and one would be forgiven in expecting his performance to suffer as the newer game would be their sole focus. Well, understandable, but wrong. Defiant came out swinging in pools. The Vlob player would send bracket favorite Kiri to losers at winners finals of Pool G4 in a 2-1 set, and he would not stop. He would secure a spot in top 8 by defeating Akimi in the Vlov mirror, and then Blaznik Saber, both 2-0. In top 8, they would lose to Aaron's powered CL 2-0, but even in losers, they would climb further. Defeating Mario main Vivian first, then Red Arkwood main Kikoho, Defiant would exit at 3rd, losing to Scrop Vermillion in losers finals. An excellent run, but his weekend would see a greater glory after. Defiant would sweep through the Undernight bracket, taking 1st place. An extremely strong showing this weekend, and congratulations to them. Shimmying to victory. Frosty Faustings concluded in a tense fashion with a new champion. Aaron, a Shiki-empowered CL player from Connecticut, would go on an impressive run to secure 1st place at the event. Aaron would clear DBZ Formers and Barrel to make it out, and in top 48, they would sweep past JCOM and Arkma Muddy Kips 2-0 to make it to top 8. The run would continue, as they would stop Defiance's winner's side run with a 2-0, meeting Scrot Vermilion in winners finals. In a tense 5-game set, Aaron would take the final game and secure the winner's spot of Grand Finals. Scrot would return to face Aaron with a vengeance. It was looking well for the Coma main, and some unfortunate cable issues saw Aaron lose momentum in rounds. Scrot would reset the bracket, and Aaron would get a replacement cable from fellow Connecticut player Syndicate Snivy in the crowd to hopefully resolve their controller issues. The set would invert, with no more controller issues plaguing Aaron. After 4 games, the Ace of Connecticut would send Scrot home and secure the trophy for Frosty Faustings.
It's broken, but the tech recovery!
All right, no meter from Aaron, and
there it goes!
And Aaron is your Frosty Faustings 16 2024 Melty Blood type Lumina champion.
How will this affect the PSA circuit? Frosty Faustings was a part of the PSA Circuit 2 offline brackets. As a result, players placing from 49th onwards would get some points toward the 10 qualifying spots in the circuit. The event was also the last to have 2 invitation spots for the players placing first and second. However, the players in that spot, Aaron and Scrot, had already qualified at ECT and CEO Taku, respectively. The spots then started moving down the placings. Defiant declined the invitation, and Kikoho, being the top TO for the circuit, was unable to take the spot. The invites then moved to 5th place, where Vivian would take one of the invitation spots, but Blaznik would decline the other. So, one more invite spot fell to the 7th placers, Hyde and Arkma Muddy Kips. Per the rules, both players would play a first to 10 to decide who would get the spot. Both players were already in position in points, with Hyde at the final 10th spot at the time and Arkma at 6th. With another month of events both on and offline left, and several players in range of their spots, both would prefer to secure a spot now. So Sunday, the set happened, and the winner would be Arkma, winning in a set 10-6. The video will be linked below as it was not streamed. As of recording, the circuit qualifiers have concluded, with the graphic from the circuit showing all qualified players. And that was Frosty Faustings. It was only the first major event of the year, but with March bringing Crossover Arc, April bringing Splashback, and May returning us to Illinois for Combo Breaker, the first part of this year is full of big events. What were your thoughts on the bracket? What players surprised you the most? And any more thoughts you have on the bracket, you should leave a comment about under the video. Until next time, this has been Melting Core.